Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Go Blue with Stu podcast. I am your host, Stuart Douglas. Today, we got a special guest, Chris Hunter, former U of M center, now director of basketball operations for the team this year and for the last few years. Chris, how's it going, man? I think we can report this. You're in Champaign, Illinois, correct?
We are in Champaign, touched down a couple hours ago, and it's going good. Like I said, we're excited to, be on the verge of playing another game. So it's good.
How's the last week been?
Last week has been it's been interesting to say the least. Everybody's dealing with it, and we're no different than anybody else. So, you take those lumps, and the team has been pretty good with their spirits and their work ethic coming in every day. So you just do what you can do. You can control what you can control.
Are you guys? Juwan said, I heard a quote or read a quote saying something to the effect of, not really having enough guys to even go 5-on-5. Like, are you guys just going day by day being like, well, we'll see who we got?
Yeah, I mean, and even, just leading after the guys, who had a couple positive tests and just, guys, just normal this time of the year, you get some sicknesses, you get different stuff like that has guys out, or, guys has a sore back here and he's limited. So, some of those normal things that you have during the season, it's just tough when you add that COVID thing on it. So we've been making do, get some 3-on-3, some 4-on-4, and you just keep them moving.
The NBA guys love the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
I learned that real quick. And I was like, oh, so I'm going to get exposed in these workouts real quick.
Hey, it puts a lot of pressure on that individual defense and that spacing. So, I mean, it's always been a good thing for us to do that anyway. So
yeah, for sure. Are we rocking the black jerseys tomorrow? Did I see that right?
Those jerseys, they're as close to black as you can get.
Okay. I was wondering.
We'll say pitch. The official color is pitch navy.
Gotcha.
So it's about as close as black as you can get.
Were you? Did you have any inside info on the development of that? Has this been like a work in progress? Because these are cool. Like I wanted gray jerseys first of all, and then like these pitch would be really cool as well. And I never got anything really super cool. But
I mean, since I first got back with the program, that was one of the things I was really excited about. Trying to have a hand in some of that stuff. And black jerseys were one of the things. Like, yo, we gotta find a way to get this done. And also it's funny that you said that, the gray ones as well. That was something I tried to push for a couple of years ago that didn't happen. So maybe we can try to get that done. But you gotta ease us into it. Pitch navy as close to black as you can get. And we're trying to do some good and fun stuff. And Juwan is all for, kind of pushing the limits and doing some fresh things here. So, it's some things we got some ideas on, and hopefully we can get done here in the near future.
Yeah, especially as a player, like any suggestion I was gonna have would be like 10 years down the road anyways. Like progress gets slowly made. So that was never gonna work for me. But I always like watched West Virginia's teams, and they had the gray and they had the blue and yellow trim. And I was like, that would look beautiful on Michigan's court. But then they just went to the highlighter yellow that one year. And I was like, all right, I don't know about all this.
But Adidas highlighter yellow. I mean, I went as far as having some little mock-up designs of some great.
Oh, you went all for it.
Those are still in the file. So if we can never get them done, I mean, I thought they looked pretty sweet.
I love that. See, we got like minds. I never went as far as making some mocks, but those are.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I was trying to get it done.
Yeah. So how is the team feeling? With guys in and out, it's tough. This team has been trying to find their identity as the year goes on, anyways. And you got a lot of young guys coming into the mix. How have they been feeling the last couple of weeks? There's been some progress in certain games. Obviously, not some wins that the guys would like, that we would all like, but I feel like there's been some progress made. But now with this whole COVID thing, how is the team looking? How are they feeling? How are spirits?
Yeah, spirits are good. I mean, we got competitors in the locker room, and a lot of the guys who are clamoring for opportunities are now going to get those opportunities. Practice, you get more reps, and obviously in these games, we're going to need healthy bodies and guys who are ready to go, and who've been practicing, for this past week and things like that. So guys have been good. I think, for us, it's all about the process of every day getting 1% better. When you look out and fans want to see all the success that we had in the previous seasons, and sometimes that timeline, is just pushed back a little bit, and you just got to keep grinding and keep working. But I think our staff and everybody loves the group that we have in the locker room. These guys come in and work every day. and you just try to speed up that learning curve and build those habits, those winning habits for our guys, so they can go out there and do that stuff on the court without thinking about it. So
Yeah.
now guys are learning what they don't know. They understand what they need to do, but it's when that stuff comes second nature and you can do those things on the court consistently without thinking about it. That's when you have a really good winning team. So I think we're on the verge of that. Guys are working, guys are attentive, and we've been excited about the energy that they've been trying to bring.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And because a lot of people have been asking me, like, why hasn't this team had the success that everyone had visioned for them? First of all, it's not the same team as last year. You have those expectations, but that was a big point that I try to make to people, is like, you got a lot of guys like trying to learn that second nature. So I try to speak about it from having a little bit of perspective of playing, but not being in it. But you're in it and you see it. Like, these young guys, guys need time. Like, even if you're like playing really well as a freshman, you're still not doing everything super right. It takes a long time to still have those things become second nature, and then you're not thinking on the court. And I won't ramble on too long, but a guy like Caleb, where he's thinking a lot on the court, and for a guy who's supposed to show talent that shouldn't think. Like, there's like guys like LeBron, like they can do it, but like talent should just be talent. And so it's hard to explain to fans sometimes that sort of perspective, but give me your perspective on that, and the melding of all these guys trying to figure out as they go.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, when you compare different years in different areas, that's when you always kind of get in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we lost a lot.
Yeah.
When you talk about, the pros on your team, and then when you take it a step further and you talk about those culture guys who are in the locker room, your seniors, your CJ Baird, your Luke Wilsons, your Ricos, all of those guys who've been through it for 3 and 4 years, who can help lead and help hold everybody accountable. So when you look at this team, you got a lot of really good high-end talent. You got a lot of young guys who are, learning on the fly. And you see those bright spots, and then you see some spots where, dang, they just made that mistake. And then at this level, when you make those mistakes, good teams and good coaches take advantage of those. So
Yeah,
as we go throughout the season, we keep learning, we keep teaching. The thought and the goal is just to minimize those. And like I said before, just have those winning plays become second nature with those guys. And then, like you said, the thinking comes out of it, your talent level, your skill level, all of the things you've been doing all your life, that stuff takes over. And then you can start playing a little bit more freer. But like I said, our guys are always in the film, always willing to learn. And I think, at a certain point, all that work you put in it is going to, come to fruition and bear fruit for you and let you be able to do what you need to do on the court.
yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with that. I'm kind of waiting for my guy Brandon Johns to go off. I love Brandon Johns, and he's gotten a lot of, I won't say hate, but some critiques. And I just think he's uber talented. And if you can relate to Juwan, like Stewart says, let Brandon Johns go, because I'm waiting for him to kind of have the end of the season that he kind of had last year. Like, you see that confidence. We won't get into it, but I love it. I'm excited to hear you say, like, certain guys we need to step up and they'll get those opportunities, and that's always fun to watch. Because there's so many guys in this team that can step up like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today when this episode comes out. I want to get into some of your playing career a little bit, but I want to talk about your time right now as Dobo and kind of a little bit of post career up until now. You have a very unique perspective, playing under Amaker, and then you worked under Beeline for a little bit, and now working under Juwan, and you have this whole succession of coaches, and you've been there, and like maybe you and Blue have been there for like the entire time, and maybe and Lisa, I think, in the office, but like otherwise, I don't know too many other people. How have you seen? This is kind of a broad question, but like likes, comparisons, sort of the differences between all these guys, and what makes them successful.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are different in their own senses, but I think the general theme of all of these guys that they're really genuine people who really care about the people who are in that locker room, the people who are on their staff, and you can feel that. And then, all those guys are good, just basketball knowledge. Like, Coach Amaker was a really, really good coach, really good people person, cared about everybody in the office and on the team. And you feel that, and that builds buy-in for everybody. And you try to do what you need to do to be successful for him. And I think, everybody from Coach Beeline and Coach Howard has those same type of characteristics, and they just go about the game in the right way. So Coach Amaker was good at that. Coach Beeline was super detailed, as and just everything about doing things the right way and the basics and the fundamentals and really keeping everything in a straight and narrow. And then Jawan is similar in that way, but gives you a little bit of freedom and it's a little bit more up tempo and up pace. But when you talk about those details and really teaching the way that the game should be taught to the individual and breaking down the why, we're doing stuff. Why is this important for me, my foot angle to be this way? Why is it important for me to be right here and not one step over? So I think all of those coaches in their own way were really great teachers. And that, when it boils down to it, as a coach, you teach the game of basketball, you try to motivate, and you try to get the best out of those guys on your team. And I think everybody who I described and who I've been a part of have been a really good teacher of the game of basketball.
Definitely. When your playing career ended, you came back to Michigan to be the director of program personnel. You got promoted into director of basketball operations. But, after playing, you're kind of figuring out what you want to do. What made you, this might seem like an easy answer for some people, what made you come back to U of M?
Well, for me, it was, I was coming off, my career, I was coming off two major devastating injuries. So I tore my Achilles actually on Christmas Day in Fort Wayne, Indiana, playing for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. So this was the season after I had a season with the Golden State Warriors and was really trying to, get back at it and carve myself out, a nice little career there and try to, propel myself into a longer NBA stint. And unfortunately, had that injury, which is a devastating one. It takes a year to come back. So came back from that rehab, and that was a tough rehab. Actually did a lot of that stuff down there in Indianapolis with St. Vincent Sports Performance.
Oh, yeah.
Which people. Was really good. So really good people. And just, coming back from that and was in the summer league with the Clippers and tore my other Achilles. So that was tough. So, then I had another surgery and rehab and came back from that and was back with the Mad Ants. I give all the respect and the props for them for giving me those opportunities to come in there and, try to make the most of it. But just wasn't quite right, as far as my body. And really, at that point, you start like, okay, I really need to start thinking about, what's the next steps. And I had, a child on the way. I was looking to say, hey, do I want to go overseas and play and, wherever that may be, China, or, had a lot of opportunities, but just really just reaching out to stay a part of the game. And I reached out to Brian Townsend, who I had met and, had some rapport with over the years, and BT, he's always one of those guys who's willing to help out in any way. So just reaching out for some advice about, hey, how do I get into this thing? How do I crack into it? I want to stay around the game. This is what I'm thinking. This is where I'm at in my career. And luckily, a couple of weeks after that, opportunity came up with, CJ Lee, who was in that program personnel position, took an assistant coaching job at Marist. And, the rest from there is kind of history. Got a couple interviews with Coach Beeline, was able to meet him out on the road in Fort Wayne, actually, when he was out recruiting. So I was in Carmel, Indiana, and drove up to Fort Wayne real quick to meet him before he hopped on a flight to go from, Fort Wayne recruiting to somewhere else he was going, and, had some good rapport, and it kind of, came from there. So, coming back home to Michigan was a no-brainer for me, and coming under a Hall of Fame coach like Coach Beeline was a no-brainer as well.
Quick shout out to BT. BT is my point of reference. He's my go-to guy for U of M. Like, I love that man. He is the best. But these interviews were they not strict? Was he like pretty serious in some of these interviews, Beeline?
You know what? It was pretty serious. It was funny because I met him like at an FBO that he was about to fly out at, and it was some like weird conference room. So
they're weird.
It was like he was way on that side of the table, and I was on this side of the table. And I came in with my Michigan hat on, and but it was really good. It was basically about really just learning more about me and my story, and going from there. And so it was really good. He's a really good dude to talk to, and more down to earth and funnier than what people would think if you don't know him from the outside. So it was good.
Yeah, no, I always tell people like if he let loose, he would be one of the best color commentators
Oh
in
yeah,
basketball. Like he
no,
is
dude,
super funny. He's just so buttoned up. He won't let people, you know,
for
he
sure,
don't want to say anything mean, but man, he is pretty funny.
for sure.
You played at U of M from 2002 2006. Like I just missed you, which is crazy to me. And I started in '08. You guys had a lot of talent and some good teams. And I think was it '06? You guys won in '04, the NIT, just missed the tournament in '06. You guys started out really hot in the Big Ten. But I was looking, and you guys finished the Big Ten pretty tough and didn't make the tournament. We were super close. But were you injured in those last few regular season games?
So I got that season. I got a high ankle sprain. Um, one of my one of my teammates, Javon Shepard, I'm gonna call him now. That's my
Oh, I
guy.
played with Javon. I love
So
Javon.
he was a young fella,
Oh,
and he like took a charge on somebody and
of
kind of
course.
fell back right on my leg. So it was like towards the middle, early beginning of that Big Ten season. So I was out for a few weeks there trying to come back from that, and then was able to get healthy enough to come back and have a really pretty good stretch down the stretch there that year for us. So yeah, that year we made it to the NIT championship final, but lost that one to South Carolina. And they had a couple guys, Ronaldo Balkman, who was a pro, and
Yeah.
other guys on there who turned out to be pros as well. But so it was a good run, and we had some really good teams there. We had some things and some hiccups as far as some stuff, injuries and some other stuff with our group. But as far as a talent base and what Coach Amaker was able to kind of bring in and get started and kind of get jump started with everything that was going on in Michigan basketball. When I first started, my first year, we were still under a tournament ban from all the other stuff that went on. So, and that year we finished fourth in the Big Ten, so probably would have had an opportunity to make the tournament that year.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. I think the guys that Coach Amaker brought in were very talented, hardworking guys, but it was one of those periods where you have to build. So you got to go through some lumps and some bumps, and we had some successes, had some failures, but I think we set Michigan on a good path to kind of continue to build. And what Coach Beeline did is speaks for itself, and what Juwan is doing now speaks for itself. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be a part of all of that. It was
No,
great.
for sure. I don't think your group and Amaker get enough credit for the kind of talent they brought in and sort of the progress that was being made. I mean, that's just sports in general. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to be forgotten in those senses, but you can speak to it. I always say that coaches just don't get enough of a chance, especially at the college level when you have so much turnover. And I mean, I remember graduating and people telling me Beeline could have gotten fired in my junior year. And I was like, why? It doesn't make any sense from the inside. And so I feel like Amaker probably got a bit of that as well. And, Beeline did fantastic, but, Amaker is a good coach in his own right. And you saw that from your perspective. So like, speak on what you guys were doing and like building and like, I mean, you were super talented and weren't even getting the most shots. Like you guys had a lot of talent. You guys were really building there and got snake bit. So like, there's some things that you guys were doing well. Like Amaker just doesn't get enough credit for. You guys don't get enough credit for it.
Yeah, I mean, he recruited his butt off. He had a
Yeah.
staff that really recruited his butt off and got some talent in the building. We got McDonald's All-Americans. Before, this recent year, Daniel Horton was one of the last McDonald's All-Americans to come to Michigan. So he got those guys, and we had high-end talent. And I think we were just trying to build something that was, that was going to be sustainable and just kind of come in and play hard and do it the right way. For us, like I said, it was just some injuries here, some, off the court thing, and that stuff, any kind of monkey wrench that you can throw in something, it hurts you. But like I said, we were able to put a banner up in 2004. So,
Yeah.
it's the national championship NIT, but it's
Hey.
up there. And I tell our guys, I say, hey, look up there. We put that banner
That's
up.
yeah.
So you take those type of things and you're proud about them. And but when you think about our era, like we didn't have the PDC, like as far as all access to come in and get
Probably
work
even good
done.
weightlifting.
And
Yeah.
like for us, if we wanted to get extra shots up, we sometimes had to go to the IM building or the CCRB, or you had to, bribe one or somebody like that to let you in at midnight because there was so much other stuff going on. It was wrestling, it was gymnastics, it was volleyball sometimes. So, you didn't have that all access to go in and work on your game like these guys have. And so it was one of those things where, we did what we could do with what we had, and it was really special. Back then you didn't know the differences between like what you have now and what we see that we have now, and the opportunities that those afford you to just be a better basketball player, be a gym rat, be in the gym more. Maybe you
Yeah.
don't go out to that party, even get in the gym and get some extra shots up or something like that. So I thought it was very special group, talented group, guys, a lot of guys who played professional basketball for a long, long time, whether it was NBA or overseas. So, I'm very proud of our group and what we were able to do and kind of get started. So it was good.
Yeah, definitely. I have some bitterness in that regard. I remember when Stauskas and Karis LeVert were developing and becoming better and better players, and they kind of highlighted their practice schedule, after hour stuff. And I was like, yeah, these guys get access to the PDC with cards. And like, my summer before my senior year, like we had to do the IM building stuff, and we didn't even get the PDC until the season started. And I was like, what am I going to ask University of Michigan to open up the IM building at 10 p.m.? I was like, I can't do that stuff. But yeah, no, these guys got it real easy now. But yeah, well, you got to take pride in building that stuff up.
Yeah.
You talked about playing overseas, and I wanted to talk about your journey. You have a very interesting perspective on post-college basketball. I looked up your journey a little bit overseas, and it lasted a year, but you went to Switzerland first and then left before the season started. What happened with that?
Yeah, just really the Switzerland I had a little better opportunity to go and play in Poland.
Okay.
So it was really kind of starting out in training camp there in Switzerland, and then playing in some early preseason games, and then really a great opportunity in Poland to play in a little better
Yeah.
league, a little better team came about. So I mean, that was great. Both of those opportunities. I mean, going to Switzerland, and we had training camp up in the mountains, and we're running through trails and all that stuff. So all those experiences were good, but really had a great opportunity to join a team that was a little bit higher level over there in Poland with a little higher level league.
How
So
was
that
that?
was what that was. That was pretty good for me.
Yeah. How was that Poland experience? I think they got a good league. I know a lot of guys that have jumped off from the Polish league and gone
Yeah.
on to do great things. Have you have a pretty good experience, or any fun Euro stories?
Yeah. I mean, I had a great experience. I was in a little small. It was a smaller town up near the Baltic Sea called Koszalin. So that was a great experience because it's really your first time away from home in that sense, and you're way over in a different country, and you gotta first and foremost expand your food palette. You can't.
Yeah.
You got to eat what's available, what's in the local town and shops. And I remember I think it was like a KFC or something that was like an hour, maybe 15 away. So when we get over there to KFC, I would go get 50, 60 wings and bring them back and eat on those for a few days. But just from a culture standpoint, it was good. I had some really, really good teammates on that team, which made that experience fun. The Polish guys as well as the Americans that was on the team. It was some really, really good guys on the team that made that experience really, really fun. So I wouldn't trade that in for anything. And I played well. Those 2-a-days, those 3-a-days that you have every week in and week out, it kind of builds that work ethic that you didn't know that you were able to do
Yeah.
before. Like I never really experienced that. Going into the draft process a little bit, preparing for that, but being in the season and playing one game a week, and 5 days of the week you're practicing 2-3 times a day,
Yeah.
was an eye opener for me. And I think it really gave me the confidence that I could really achieve some different stuff, and gave me the confidence that I can reach high levels. And
Yeah.
I give a lot of credit to that team in Poland for that. I had some success over there, played well, and I was like, if I really put this type of work in consistently, I can get to where I need to go. And my ultimate dream was the NBA.
Yeah. It's like a different, you think you're grinding in college, but it's like just a different type of grind when you go over there. It's just a little bit different. But I remember my first year I played in Spain, and we did 2 days about 3 times a week, and it was March, and I am like dead. It's like middle end of March, and I'm like dead at one of these 2 days. It's like a Tuesday. We play Fridays, and coach is like, "Why are you tired? You are 22. Like, why are you tired?" And I was like, "Coach, last year in January I was practicing 45 minutes, like, and I was barely doing drills because I was a senior. Like, what? I
Yeah.
am dead. This is the longest I've ever like consistently played basketball for this many hours." But you went your second year to Belgium, and Belgium's a little more, I think, American friendly. Did you have a good time there?
Great time there. I was in Leuven, so kind of a smaller little college town, and
Mm-hmm.
where they brew Stella Artois. So I got my first introduction, to that, and
Yeah,
partook in that a little bit.
I'm drinking one right now,
Um,
actually.
oh, there you go. See, there you go. No, it's really good. So no, that was great too. Great opportunity. They had a little better facilities and stuff like that to work with. So that was fun. Unfortunately for me, I had another injury there too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sprained my MCL for a little bit and was trying to come back from there. And then from there, just made the decision to come home. I was like, I'm gonna come home. And from that point, I just grinded. I went back home to Gary, Indiana, and was upstairs in my parents' attic. And I just grinded. I went to a fitness center that was probably about 20 minutes away in Cherville, and just really just grinded, got my body right. I was probably about 240 when I came back. And then at the end of that whole summer, I was probably about 255, 260.
Damn.
Really just got my body together and was stronger, more athletic, and worked on my game. And then said, let me take this shot at the G League, and got an opportunity with Fort Wayne right up the street. And from there, it just really kind of took off for me. Just made that decision just to just invest in myself and work on my body, and was able to play well enough in Fort Wayne to, be a G League All-Star, and ultimately get that call up at the end of the year that turned into, the Knicks thing, and then, a season with the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that, but I always ask everybody if they have like a memorable European story, whether it's fans or like a difference in culture or language. You got like one that's on the top of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would probably say it was the transition from Switzerland to Poland. When I left there, just going straight from Switzerland to Poland to meet the team. So I was supposed to meet their GM, gonna pick me up from the airport. I was like on the last flight into Poland to whatever regional airport I was in. So as I was getting off the plane, they're like shutting off the lights
Oh,
in the
God.
airport. So I get my bag and I'm like, okay, they're shutting off the lights. People are shutting down. There's like 2 people left. And I go outside and I'm waiting, and I'm like, okay, he's supposed to meet me. And then I see the workers, they lock the door up, they get in their car, they leave. I'm still waiting. I'm like, okay, he's supposed to be here about, 30 minutes ago, hour ago. So I was like, okay, there's a payphone. Let me call my agent, see if he can get in contact with their GM and see like what the heck's going on. So I call him, and he gets in contact with somebody on the team, and the GM that was supposed to pick me up got held up in Belarus picking up another player. It was some type of train something, or he got held at the border and wasn't going to be able to pick me up. So I'm in Poland in this small town, and really nobody spoke English. So I flagged down probably one of the last cabs that was there, and was like, yo, just take me into town. So I took myself into town, and he took me to like this hostel looking place.
Oh, no.
And this was like right when those like Hostel movies was coming. It might have been like Hostel
Yeah.
2 or something was out at that time. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, what the heck? So I get a room, and I'm in the room like, I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep. So let me go out here and see if somebody could, help me kind of get in contact with the team, because my agent had gave me a number to try to call to see if I can get in contact. So I'm going around the town, and I'm looking, I'm trying to see what's open, what's available. And I look in this one place, and it looks like it's a wedding reception or something going on. So I just kind of like creep in and was like, hey, does anybody speak English? English? Yeah, I need some help English. So there's a couple guys who spoke some English, and kind of helped me get to another phone and dial and use it and call some people, and let everybody know where I was. I didn't really know where the heck the hostel was. I didn't
Yeah.
know like, the address. And I'm like, So they helped me kind of get me set up for the next morning for them to come pick me up. But that was one of those experiences where I was ready to call them like, yo, just send me home. Like, what the heck is going on here? They got me stranded. Nobody here to pick me up. I don't speak no Polish and nobody speak English. So that was one of those unique, just kind of gotta, figure it out, get it done, and make something happen. So that was probably one of my most unique experiences over there. Everything else was probably a little bit not PG to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Those are off air. I got plenty off air. That I think that I've like heard every story, and that's one of the most unique welcome stories that I've ever heard. Just I don't know how you actually did that, because I'm too shy. I would have just been like, well, guess I'm in this hostel bed for the night, then
Yeah,
just
it
sat
was.
there.
I was like, I gotta make something happen. So let's go. I
Yeah.
said, I'm 6'11", I'm about 250. Let me, if something happen,
So yeah,
I can handle myself. But that was crazy. That was crazy. But
that's
funny
funny.
story. But yeah.
Yeah, but after that, you talked about how you went to the Mad Ants, and then in 2009, you got your chance at the NBA. You became a rookie. You played, that season with them. That must have been just, I mean, a hell of an experience going from a hostel in Poland to fulfilling NBA dreams. I mean, that had to be a couple years of a lot of mental fortitude, to say the least.
Yeah, like I said, I just made a decision just to put my head down and just grind. It was something that, like when I was in Poland and when I was in playing in Switzerland, I got that confidence that, hey, yo, I can do this. I think I'm that type of level of player if I can put the necessary work in. So you just put your head down and just go for it. At that point, that's what you've been working for your whole life and working towards, and it's the game that you love. So you go for it, you go all in, and luckily for me, I was able to, have that experience. So, that was awesome. My first full year with the Golden State Warriors was Steph Curry's rookie year. So just being a part of, seeing the genesis of what he's become now. And I was watching the game early on TV, getting their butts kicked right now. But just seeing, being a part of that, you grow up, you watch all of it on TV, and now I'm sitting in these same locker rooms with these same guys and holding my own too. So that was awesome for me.
Yeah, take me through real quick that experience, putting on that jersey, checking into the game for the first time, like, oh shit, like these are the bright lights. This is what I've worked my butt off for, and it's finally here, because not many people get to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was like a dream come true. You have a little nervousness, a little jitters, but I was extremely confident, because I put in the work and I was extremely confident that I can go out there and be, impactful in the game. And my first game was actually against Greg Oden. It was at home against the Blazers, so it was like, okay, you throw you right into a fire. I mean, that was before a lot of his injuries had set in, and he was like a dominant player. But just
Chris, I had to play him in high school. I mean, in high school, I had to play him.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I followed him, me being from Indiana as well, just followed those guys and Conley, and no, they were monsters. So that was a great experience, and came in and did my own, hit my first couple shots and some dunks and set some screens and went from there.
What hold on real quick. What AAU team did you play for? Because you had to go up against them in the AAU circuit, yeah?
No, so they were a little bit after me. So I played for SYF.
Okay, I played for SYF for a year, actually.
Yeah, and then I also played for Bloomington Red. That was the Nike team back in the day when. So, and then I did have a little brief stint with the Speeds too. So I was kind of all over.
Yeah, all over.
As most people are.
How'd you fare that first night against Greg?
Did well. Like I said, I think I probably had about maybe 8 or 10 points.
Okay.
A couple mid-range jumpers, a couple rebounds. I think I got one block on them or something like that. A couple hard fouls, and just set your feet up.
Yeah.
Out there, set some screens, got our teammates open, so it was good.
Yeah, I can imagine you two didn't say too many words back and forth.
No, not too many words. The whole Michigan Ohio State thing definitely was in the back of my mind as well. So I wanted to go out there and kind of hold my own and compete for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned that was Steph's rookie year as well, and you also had. I mean, I'm going through the roster, and it's hilarious to me. Biedrins, first of all, it's like, I don't know, one of the funniest guys. I loved him back then. But you had Raja Bell, Wacko Jacko, Steven Jackson, and Monte Ellis. And I'm trying to picture those three guys just not making it easy on Steph.
So, when I got there is when they made the trade. So Steven Jackson wasn't there. So they made
Oh,
those
okay, okay,
trades
okay.
like the first, I think it was like the first 7, 8 games. So Steven Jackson went there, but Monte Ellis was there. And no, it was great. I mean, we really had some good vets on that team. Talk about guys like Corey McGay, Roger Bell, Beardrins, Ronnie Turioff, some guys who, were some really good vets to me. Devin George, he bought me my first custom suit in the league. So no, that was a great experience. But like, no, Steph was, you can tell he was different. His talent level and everything and the way he carried himself, you can just tell that he was different.
Was it just like you could just sense it, or kind of the way he carried himself, or the way he went about his work, or what was it?
I think it's all of the above. The way he
Uh,
carried himself, the way he went about his work, and then when you see what he did on the court, it was like, wow, this is. But you didn't know it was going to be this generational, transitional type player that has become this icon type player. But you knew that he was going to be really, really good, and it was going to be a special thing for him. So, I'm just excited to say I got a chance to catch a couple of passes for him, set a couple screens for him, and go over his house, play a little 2K back in the day. So that, those type of things were, special, fun memories for me for sure.
who was the coach for you guys?
So I was Don Nelson.
Okay, that's what I thought. How was he? Because we saw everyone's seen the transition of Don Nelson into your like Rasta uncle, and he seems like I've heard a lot of different stories about him, but he seems like a real cool guy, but like kind of intense. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, he's cool, he's laid back, but he has those intense moments. Like, practices are not real crazy intense. You come in and get your work done. The offense is free flowing. But he's a good guy. I could tell you one crazy story. I'll try to keep it as PG as possible.
Okay, good.
With him. But I mean, one day I don't know what it was. We had a practice. I don't know if it was after a long road trip or something. I just came in. I just was feeling just lethargic and didn't have that necessarily energy. But he made a joke like, at least if you're gonna come in and be like this, at least tell me you was out partying and drinking all night. I was like, Coach, no, I just don't feel it. He was like, at least tell me that if you're gonna come in and and look like this without this type of energy. But I was like, no, I'm just just tired. He's like, at least tell me you was out partying, drinking, and having a great time. Like,
Because he probably was.
Because he
my,
probably was.
My bet would be that he probably was.
Yeah, but no, as far as being an innovative guy and coming in with fresh ideas and doing out of the box stuff as far as schematically on the court, I learned a lot from that year, just thinking outside the box and doing some things that you would never think that you could do on the court, or different schemes defensively, offensively. So, it was good, and I was a part of the win that made him the winningest coach of all time too, when we were at Minnesota and at the Timberwolves. So I was able to be a part of that win. So, it was special. I got a chance to be a part of some cool stuff.
Yeah,
really, really
definitely. Cool. Do you remember anything specific? Because I always love to hear like coaches' different perspectives and like different game planning, because I always think everyone's regurgitating from before them or right next to them. Is there like anything you remember that was like really unique?
Yeah, it was just sometimes it was some weird defensive things. We had a smaller backcourt, so sometimes we played some of those bigger backcourts. We used to do some weird things about trapping and overplaying guys to force them into the traps, and like kind of pre-rotating into traps and things like that. So it was some of those kind of weird things that you would that I'd never experienced and wouldn't think that a coach would do, that kind of really worked. And then just some offensive stuff, really just trying to spread that floor and really take advantage of the spacing and the shooting, which we had a lot of on that team as well.
Yeah, I got to ask you a million questions about you and your playing career. Well, we're going to get you out of here. I got 3 quick hitters at the end, but I'm gonna add a 4th here because I think we got another connection. I play with Javon, but I think Mikey Harari was also a manager at the time you were there. Do you remember little Mikey?
Well, Mikey, he might have been a freshman or something like that.
I think so. Maybe. Yeah, he was. I mean, real short. Jewish kid from New York with the glasses. I think. Yeah, Mikey was.
That's about all you're describing 50% of the marriage.
So true. No disrespect to them. We love them.
Yeah, no disrespect. Hey, those are our guys, man. They put in so much work. So much work.
So much work. Too much work, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. I got 3 quick hitters. And we'll get you out of here. I really appreciate your time. All right. Number 1, I asked this all the players, and it's been unanimous so far. And I think it was there when you were there. Skeeps or Ricks?
I've only been to Skeeps as an undergraduate student.
Really? That's
Never
interesting.
went to Rick. See, back in the day when I was there, it was Studio 4. So I don't know if Studio 4 was there when you were there.
Okay,
But
I think they
that was the
moved it.
place that we went to. It was Studio 4 is now the location of Roof Chris on campus.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
where I had my 21st birthday party and all.
That's
Like we
hilarious.
went out to Studio 4, but I
I
went to
think
Skeeps a couple of times. But I would say Skeeps.
I think they shut down Studio 4 when I was in school. I think there's a too many violations, if you will,
Yeah,
if you know what
yeah.
I mean.
So
It, it,
that's how
it,
you know it was the spot to be when I was
yeah, exactly,
there.
exactly. All right, this one isn't super quick hitter, but your last game against South Carolina, I think, right? You said in the NIT in 2006. You take me through that moment when you lost and you're coming back to the locker room and it sort of hits you like your career's over, or does it hit you? Like, take me through what you're thinking, sad, happy, relief, like what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean it hits you like for us. I think the game was out of reach a little bit, maybe like a minute left.
Mm,
We were down maybe 8 or something like that. So it was kind of getting out of reach. And then when you sit there on the bench, it hits you. I mean, it's some sadness, but it's kind of like the ending of an era. It's sadness because this is your last time you're going to be able to put on a Michigan uniform and play with these guys, and a lot of guys you came in with for 4 years. So now it was some watery eyes for sure on the bench there, just kind of taking in that moment, that the finality of it, especially with a loss, and then going back into the locker room, you kind of feel those same feelings, but as you go through it, you kind of you embrace what everybody you need to embrace with, and then you get excited about kind of what the future kind of holds. It's kind of that commencement moment, the ending of something, but the beginning of possibilities for what's next. So that becomes exciting as well.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, last one. What is one thing you learned from your entire time now at Michigan that sticks out to you the most, that you carry with you to this day?
Yeah, for me, it's so much about the people that you have, in your program and the culture that you try to build. I think, when you really invest in everybody in your program, it shows. I think Coach Beeline did a good job of that with, like I said before, the staff and the student athletes, investing in those guys' success on and off the court. And then Jawan has brought that to another level as well, is just investing in and caring about everybody who's about this program, making this really a true family, and understanding that, when people have that buy-in, that's when you can get the results that you need. And I think secondarily, it's about the details, about everything that you do. I think as a player, you understand how to execute those details and, what coaches are coaching, but being against and with, these coaches in the Big Ten and learning, how different coaches do things in the Big Ten, and being with Coach Beeline and Coach Howard, you understand why those details are so important. And Coach Beeline ran a tight ship on and off the court details, as far as everything that you did, walking in the building, stuff you wore, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a difference. And and Jawan is continuing that and adding his flavor to it. So I think just when you build a culture around, the people and the details, and getting people to understand why you do the way you do, I think you'll have success.
Yeah, no, great answer. Really good answer. Chris, this was amazing. Like I said, I could ask you a million other questions and talk some more. I got to try and make it up to a game this year, and hopefully we can chop it up a little bit when I get up there. But honestly, it was great. I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully I can have you on again down the road.
Yeah, for sure. No, this was fun, man. Reminiscing and talking about this. I'm always willing
Oh yeah,
and able, and it was great, man. You've been doing an excellent job. I've been keeping up with what you're doing. So
thank you.
continue
Appreciate that.
much success for you, man. And this has been awesome. Like I said, part 2, if you want to do it, let's get it done.
I appreciate it. It means a lot. Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely do it. But like I said, I'll be up there and we'll talk then. But get some sleep. And here's to a Michigan win at Illinois. So knock on wood, we're going to have some
For
success.
competitors only. For competitors only. Let's go.
Exactly. All right. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks.